What's up, guys? Today I'm going to be critiquing this guy called Thibaud. I'm going to be, I don't know how to pronounce his second name. I'm going to be critiquing his solves on Skewb. This is going to be a new series, so you can actually send in an average of 12. It'll be a lot easier if you do it on Facebook, so add me on Facebook and I'll get back to you. So yeah, this is the first episode and I'm planning to do more in the future. And yeah, so if you are slower than this, then this will help you. If you're faster, then I might still show you stuff that will help you. And if you're the same speed, then it will obviously help you. So yeah, his solves are pretty fast, although his layers are really inefficient and his finger tricks aren't that nice either. So yeah, let's just get into the first solve. Okay, so now let's just talk about the first solve. He did the green layer, and I would actually just happen to do this layer too, but that's only because I'd be able to one look it. So I'll just first going to show you some other layers you could have done. You could have done the orange layer in 3 moves, just 1, 2 inserts those, and that's 3. And then you also could have done the blue layer, which is 4 moves, so 1 less move than the one that you did, which is just by bringing that piece down and then just inserting those in 3 moves like that. So what you instead did, which I thought was fine, you inserted that, then twisted that. However, your finger tricks could have been better, so you could have held it like this and done kind of like a B prime, and then twisted it like that. That would have been a lot faster, because what you did that, then rotated and twisted it. But anyway, yeah. Second thing that I saw was the skip really caught you off guard. So you fumbled around with the cube a bit. You were like, oh, what do I do? What do I do? Oh, there's a U-perm. So obviously there are lots of things that you could have done that could have helped you with that. Firstly, track the U center. This, you should be able to do this by now since you're sub 5. Well, not consistently, but you can be sub 5. I recommend that you try and track the U center, especially if you watch my one look videos. At least tracking the U center shouldn't be hard. So for this case. So once I brought this down, that these two swap and these two swap, so you already know that the U center will be on top, and this will be solved. And it wouldn't actually be that hard to see the CP skip either, but one looking isn't that important at this stage. So yeah, firstly you could have finger tricked it better, and secondly you could have tracked the U center and like gone into the U-perm a bit quicker rather than fumbling around a bit. And then your finger trick of the U-perm was fine. Your TPS is quite nice, there's nothing wrong with that. Okay, so for the second solve, you did the blue layer, and I didn't look much, but I think there are only 5 move layers on this. And your finger trick of it was quite good as well. So you just inserted that piece, and then just did these in 4 moves, 1, 2, 3, 4. I forgot how you finger tricked it, but it was quite nice, so there's literally nothing wrong with that. There was a really fancy layer that you could have done, but that was also 5 moves, and that's on green. I'm not sure if anyone else should have seen this, so you just do that, then that, then that, and then those two. But yeah, that was really fancy, and it's not really that needed. Then after that, you did L5C, so you did a U-perm here, and then it caught you off guard somehow. You didn't really know how to approach the U-perm after it, and you kind of fumbled around a bit. You really shouldn't be doing this by now, so what you should have done, you should have seen, firstly, there are only like 8 cases, so you should know how to do them. But even if you don't, after you've seen this, you should know that this is solved, so you're immediately going to do this, because that's going to be opposite, and this is going to go down here, which means that you'll do it from here, kind of. So you'll rotate and do it like that. But apart from that, this solve was quite nice, and there's not much wrong with it. Okay, so on solve number 3, it was a really easy solution. But you got high through in it, so that definitely could have been a lot better. So let's just go through what you did. So you did the best layer by far. It was only a 3-move layer, and there were no other layers that were like 3 moves or higher. So you were fine with that. Your finger trick wasn't that good though. You could have held it in this position and done a B like that, and made it re-gripless by inserting those two. So yeah, so that was one thing you did that could have been better. And another thing that you could have done better was that you could have inserted them in a different order. So whenever you're solving after the layer or looking ahead after the layer, you should try and get as many opposite centers as possible because they tend to be nicer. So if you inserted this one first and this one, you would have just got hedge sledge, which is obviously way nicer. And also, for this case that you had, you did a sledged U-perm. You shouldn't have really done it like that. With these cases, you can solve them in with a rotation that's not as awkward, because from here you have to do a really weird rotation that's annoying. So instead you just hold this solve center in front and do a sledge Y2, and then you just have sledge, which is way quicker. So solver number 4 had the most inefficient layer I've ever seen. You did something really, really bad. So what you did was you inserted both of these in this order, then left this one to be a 4-mover, which is just really bad. So instead what you could have done, if you wanted to do it like the way that you did, you could have just inserted these two in a different order and just had a 1-mover at the back. But obviously that's still really inefficient. By the way, your finger trick of that layer wasn't actually that bad, but it's way too inefficient to even comment that it was good in any way. So the other things that you could have done, this is my first time looking at it, but I guess you could have done red with a 5-mover, so just 2 moves to insert that, then do those in 3 moves. But yeah, again, that's not even that good. But that's my first time looking at it, and a 5-mover isn't that bad, and it is quite a nice finger trick. By the way, for the part after the layer, so you had this case, you executed it quite nicely, although you had to look around the back. That's not really needed for these, so you were given this angle after you'd finished the layer, and as you can see, this is just a cycle of these 3, meaning that the block at the back must be solved, so you shouldn't have had to look around there. As for finger tricking it was quite nice. You just did the advanced case where you just did that, then you got the H-perm skip case. Just so you know, you could have done some other stuff. So you could have just twisted this corner like that, then inserted it, and that's the ALG, and it's really fast. Just so you know. Okay, so for this one you were given a pretty obvious one-look case. And you tried to one-look it, but you kind of gave up halfway through because you're going quite far into inspection. I might as well just show you like quickly how you would one-look it quickly. So these two aren't affected, so you already know it's peanut. This goes down here, so you have an opposite center. So now you already know you have a solve center. Sorry, I meant solved. You have a solve center in the on here. And yes, peanut, and there's U center on top, so you already know it's one of those 3 sledge cases. So now next, you notice that these two swap, and you notice that this one is going to be in an opposite, so you know that the way that you execute these is always on the adjacent side, so opposite the opposite side. So you know it's going to start. You're going to start the ALG here, and because of the way peanut works, you know this is going to be white, so now you know it's just going to be sledge hedge. So yeah, there you go, like that, and then there you go, you have this. You kind of messed up on executing the ALG2, but that might have just been kind of fumbling the cube, so I'm not too worried about that. However, you can solve this in different ways. So as you can see, I've got 2 examples here. If you do it you can execute it in different ways. So you can do it so it doesn't affect these 2 corners, or you can do it so it doesn't affect these 2 corners. So this is the way that I show in the video, so I'm not going to go through that. But this way you can do it like this, and then it means that if you had this, you would have got a much nicer case. You would have got a much nicer case. You would have got a 7-move ALG. So we would have got this, so just like that, just so you know. But apart from that, all I can say is just try and get faster at one looking, and try and get used to executing your owl, because that was a really nice case that you were given, but you just didn't execute it very well.
Oh.
Solver number 6. This was quite bad to solve for you, and you made loads of mistakes, so let's just go through it. So what you did was you inserted this one and then this one. And I can see why I did that. It's a lot nicer to finger trick just doing those two, and then you just twisted that one. So yeah, what you could have done, I'm not sure if that was right. Was it that? I think it was that. What you could have done is you could have inserted this corner first, and then you could have brought this one up, then brought that corner up, then done both of those in 2 moves, which would have been a lot faster. So yeah, that's one way you could have done it, which is 1 move less. Then another way, there's a 5 mover on red. I haven't really looked at much else, but yeah, I think there's a 5 mover on red. So you just insert that in 2 moves, and these are just 3 moves away. So just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that. Then you get this 8 move out. Then as for the case that you had, was it that? Yeah, it's this. You did it like sledge, U-perm. It's like that, and you had a U-perm. Obviously, even if you were to do it that way, you should have done sledge like that, because it's way faster. So the way I do it is that I do a non-Polish sledge, then go straight into a Polish sledge. But the way you should do it is just hold it here, and just do a sledge right there, then you just get sledge. You literally just do sledge all around. And you can finger trick it like this, so you do the sledge, then that case, like that. So yeah, you definitely could have done this a lot better. But your TPS wasn't that bad, and you didn't lock up that much or anything, and your recognition was okay. But I recommend that you solve that case that you had in a different way and just look for better layers. Right, so now on to number 7. This was another 5, so it obviously wasn't that good for you either. So you did the green layer, which I would have done as well, but I would have done it very differently. What you did was you inserted these two, but you kind of finger tricked it not as well as you should have. You kind of brought this one down and brought this one down. And then, for some reason, you couldn't really find the corner, so you looked around for it. And it only does 1 move, it just moves up there, so you should have been able to see that. Then you just insert this one, and then you just inserted that one in 4 moves. It didn't take you that long to see the advanced case, so that's fine. And it just had this case. And I think you should get to know these cases more, because you kind of paused. So you didn't pause recognising it that much. So you did a hedge, but then you kind of had to look around and check what the category 1 case was. Then you did 2 sledges. So just so you know, you should get to learn those cases more. So yeah, so I would have done green, but I would have done it very differently. So I would have brought this one up here, and then this is actually just 3 moves. So 1, 2, 3, and I just get this. There is actually another thing you could have done, which is a bit more obvious. I meant the yellow. So you just bring that one down on 1 move. Then when you twist this corner, this will be a 1 mover, like that. Then you get that case. So for this, we did another pretty inefficient layer. You did blue, and I would do blue as well, but quite differently. So I would do the same first move as you, but then instead of inserting this one and then inserting this like that, which I think is very inefficient, you could just insert that, then you just have these in 5 moves. I know a 6 move layer isn't that good, but this is nice to finger trick. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that. And there you go. So yeah, there's that. Wait, what did I just do? Okay, whatever. And also, when you had this case, you did the intermediate, which is bad. The advanced ALG for this is really nice to finger... Well, not ALG, the advanced case for this is really nice to finger trick anyway. So you just do sledge, hedge, then you just get a sledge again. So you shouldn't try and avoid that case. This is actually a really nice case. Also, when you did the intermediate, you did it and then you didn't know where the U-perm would be, which is again really bad, because as you can see, this is a really easy case to see where the U-turn will be, because as you're doing this hedge, you know that this moves to here and this moves to here, meaning that you'll start here. So you should have just known. But apart from that, it wasn't that bad. Your TPS after the layer was quite good, but your layer could have been a lot more efficient and nice to finger trick, and you should have used advanced because it's really easy. Okay, so this was definitely your worst solve of the lot. You could have done so many more solutions that were a lot better. So firstly, there's a 3-move layer on white. It's just 1, 2, 3 like that. Then you get a 3 sledge case, and then let's look at the other solutions. You can do this in lots of ways. If you do it like that, you get 2 hedges, and if you do it the other way by inserting the 2 corners and inserting the last one, you still get an 8-move alg. But what you did was inserted that in 2 moves, then inserted that in 3 moves, and then you got this case. And now I can definitely tell that you haven't learnt these cases off by heart, because you did a hedge and then you literally looked around the whole cube to check which category 1 case you had, which is bad. So you should definitely try and learn these cases fully. And for this case, you should kind of do it like the 2 hedges and then go straight into a sledge like that, or you can just like rotate and do a sledge, something like that. But yeah, anyway, you can do it a lot better. Also, if you really wanted to do green like you did, there are definitely better ways of finger tricking it. So you could insert that in 3 moves, then do that. That's one way. And then, yeah, you could do it in another way as well, but I don't want to show it. So pretty much, you could have done this a lot better. So I recommend that you just try and work on your layer efficiency when you have good cases like this. Okay, now getting on to I think it's your 10th, you're quite inefficient again. So I think what you did was you inserted these 2 corners and then inserted this one at the end. So you did an R2, which I agree with. If you were to have this finger trick, it's a good idea to do an R2 because it prevents regrips. And then you rotated and inserted the corner here like that. So that was okay to finger trick, but very, very inefficient. Personally, I'll do green. It's a 5-move layer. So I would insert this in 2 moves, then I just have these 3 moves left, and I'll do an R2 like that. Then I just get, I executed that from the wrong angle, but you know what I mean. I would have got an 8-move owl. So what you did after this was you did a hedge, and you went round, started to do a sledge, and you went round, started to do a hedge, and then did a sledge, then Z2 hedge. So you definitely could have worked on that. There are only 8 OPUM cases plus peanut, I believe. So just learn them. Just learn how to approach the different cases. Okay, so now to the 11th solve. It was a 2-move layer, so I'm not going to go into your layer efficiency. That was fine. You tried to unlock it, but you couldn't. I think you kind of thought it was like an OPUM case that was like an 8-mover that you knew, because you kind of did that, and then you like looked around and realised it wasn't. Then you looked up, and this was a really, really bad solve. So you tried to finger trick it like a really like Polish kind of finger trick that like worked really well. But when it's a case that you can't one look, just like try and do it slowly so you can kind of look ahead and see which case it is. I'm not going to try and go in how you'd one look this. You just can or you can't when it comes to this kind of stuff. It just comes with practice. So you did the 2-mover, then you looked around, and then you did a hedge. That was right. Then you kind of like fumbled the whole cube. Then you did the sledge hedge, like HPUM skip case thing. I don't know why I brought you the cube, because there's nothing else that's better, apart from the fact that you could have done an alg, which is just like, you know, there's nothing wrong with not doing the alg.
Yes.
Right, so for the last one, I think you might have misscrambled very slightly. But what I think you did, for some reason I can't see it. What I think you did is you inserted these two right here, and then you brought that one down and twisted this, and you just had Y2 sledge. It took you quite a long time to notice the sledge for some reason, so you should try and work on that. You should have just seen the solved centre here, and the fact that you've just got pi corners, and these two swapped. You should just know that it's going to be a sledge. So what I would do is, I think I forgot what I was going to. Yeah, I think I'd do yellow. I think it's 5 moves, so I'd insert that piece, then I insert these in 3 moves, and that's a 1 mover, like that. Then I just get this L4C. But yeah, that solve was quite inefficient. But it's cool that you used a layer that had nothing attached, and you made something quite good out of it. Alright, so now let's just go on to the summary about how I think you could improve and get maybe sub 3 or sub 3.5. Firstly, it's good that you already know Sarah's Advanced, and Sarah's Advanced is great, and it looks like all you need to do is just practice to get used to the algs and drill them, so you know exactly how to approach each one of them. Secondly, your layers are insanely inefficient, so you really need to work on that. Watch Jay's walkthrough solves. He also has an unlisted video of more walkthrough solves where it shows some way more interesting stuff that really helped me out when I was first learning how to build layers more efficiently. First, and another thing that I found out is you don't move your wrist that much, and when you do a sledge, you have to like sometimes push with this finger, and you should kind of like let your wrist like move the cube more, because you're not moving your wrist much, and it's causing like lockups and a lower TPS. So maybe just try turning your wrist, then you'll be a bit faster. Your hedges and sledges are quite fast though, so there's nothing too wrong with that. Maybe you should try and learn how to approach worse advanced cases by learning some NS algs, or the L2L PDF that the Edgals have. That's pretty good as well. So yeah, I can't really think of much else, just keep on practicing, because it looks like you're just out of practice and you don't know how to approach cases and layers, and I think that'll just go with time and practice. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I hope this helped you out.